and friends of the late Vice President for a solemn Muslim prayer session. The prayers were led by the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Usman Nuhu Shaributu. Dr. Baumia, who addressed the gathering after the prayers, touted the qualities of the late Alhaji Aliyu Mahama. He further revealed it was his idea that birthed the NPP's Zongo Development Fund.
They were giving testimony. Every chief we went to, it was amazing. And I really got a really much deeper respect for him as we went, because he didn't say a lot of the things that he was doing, but they were there. And the evidence is across the country. The story of the Zongo Development Fund started with Alhaji Aliyu Mahama. We were talking, and he said, we have to do things to let the Zongo appreciate that the NPP is not anti-Zongo, as the propaganda was at the time. He said, what can we do? And we started talking about specific interventions, because government after government after government had not paid attention to the Zongos.
Children of the late Vice President expressed their profound gratitude to government for their immense support. Fayyad Mahama spoke on behalf of the family.
Indeed, we can't say much than to say we appreciate the efforts of the presidents and his commitment to the legacy of the late Vice President Aliyu Mahama. It is not by words, it's by the deeds and the actions at which he has committed himself selflessly to make sure the legacies of our father is remain.
As part of activities to commemorate the demise of the former Vice President, a youth forum will also be held at the University of Development Studies, Tamale, with a focus on campaigning to immortalize his greater legacies. President Akufo-Addo will then join the anniversary band in Tamale on December 10, 2017, to honor the memory of Vice President Alhaji Aliyu Mahama by renaming the Tamale Sports Complex after him. The anniversary would then be climaxed with a competitive football match of the best 11 from the south and the northern zones of the country respectively, and the proceeds would again be given to the foundation to support its work.
Over 20 entities have declared their interest in partnering government in getting a new national carrier. Government is, however, not in a hurry to create another airline following the collapse of the two national carriers, Ghana Airways and the Ghana International Airlines, according to Deputy Aviation Minister Kwabena Okyere Darko-Mensah. Speaking to GH1 News, the Deputy Minister said his outfit will ensure mistakes of the past are not repeated in the establishment of a new national carrier. He also disclosed that the Wa Airport, which has been completed, will start receiving domestic commercial airlines early next year.
We've done it twice. We failed. We don't want to do a third one and fail. So we want to make sure that we put in all the necessary structures so that it's sustainable. You see, sometimes you can have all the money, but if you don't put in the right management team and structures, not just the team, but the structures, it can fail. I mean, Ghana International Airline failed because of the structures. It was not because maybe they didn't have some team. Ghana Airways failed because of the team, not that they didn't have the structure. So we are taking cognizance of all these situations to make sure that whatever we put out there can stand the test of time. What we are basically looking at, the policy approval we got from Cabinet, was to set up a home-based carrier with private participation. So at least everybody knows the mindset we are going this time. and therefore, because of that, we don't want to put any timeline. When we are ready, we'll come and tell the Ghanaian people. But at least
interest have been expressed, and we have
a lot of people, over more than 20 people have expressed interest in partnering government to get that thing off the ground. So we are also grateful that the president has given us that approval, because at least if you start flying a Ghanaian or a home base around the world, that alone is a huge advertisement and a marketing tool for Ghana itself. And we know that it can bring a lot of investors. Now that we are doing one district, one factory, people are interested in Ghana, they want to come and see. And then people also want to experience what is Ghana.
The Regional Reorganization and Development Ministry will begin engagement with petitioners who have sent in proposals for the carving of new regions next week, Tuesday. The engagement is to facilitate the processes leading up to the creation of at least 6 new regions.
It would be recalled that Thursday, October 19, President Akufo-Addo inaugurated a commission chaired by retired Supreme Court Justice Stephen Alan Brobe to oversee the consultative process leading up to a referenda for the creation of new regions. The attempt to create new regions are in fulfillment of the New Patriotic Party's campaign promise to carve new regions out of the Brong-Ahafo, Western, Northern and Volta regions. The Commission of Enquiry has been collating views from the petitioners since then. The Commission will start an engagement process with petitioners who have sent in proposals beginning on Tuesday, 21st November.
The first petition is what will take place on 23rd. The second one will be on Tuesday, 28th November. They will take the second one. And then on Wednesday, 29th, they will take the fifth one, which is a petition from Yabonra on behalf of the chiefs and people in the part of Northern region. The last one, that will be the sixth petition, the commission members will meet, will be from the Nairi of the Mamprosi area.
The minister hinted that the Commission of Enquiry will later engage stakeholders in the respective regions to firm things up.
After this interaction, the Commission intends to move to the regions and have public hearings or stakeholder consultations. So we expect them to move to Western region and then have stakeholder consultations and public hearings and listen to people.
The Commission's recommendation will subsequently be handed over to the Electoral Commission to organize the referenda on the matter. 50% of persons living within the proposed area will be required to endorse the proposal for new regions. Then the process of creating new regions will begin. The Commission is expected to round up the process within 6 months.
And in the Eastern region, the Ineffective Library at New Drubbing Senior High School is affecting performance of students. The school, with a population of about 2,177, has been improvising with an old library facility, which is also serving as a storeroom due to infrastructural challenges. Our Eastern Regional correspondent, Kojo has more in the following report.
Students are compelled to attend library in turns due to the inadequate space. This makes extra reading and research almost impossible. Some of the students told GH1 News the library is not stocked with modern literature. The headmaster of New Drubbing Senior High School, Frank Obeng Wilson, told GH1 News the school is facing challenges with infrastructure but improvising. He said the poor state of school library is having negative impact on performance of students.
Well, I believe that with the new library and the ICT center, it is going to academically improve the learning situation in the school.
Meanwhile, the leading telecommunication company in Ghana, MTN, has cut sword for the construction of fully furnished 200-seater library and 20-seater ICT center at the total cost of a little over 600,000 Ghana cedis to be funded through MTN Foundation. The acting corporate service executive of MTN, Samuel Cranting, said the project is part of its corporate social responsibility of providing access to technology and improving on education in the country.
We've done work in various schools across the country. New Drubbing is not the first one. It's one in the many we've done. And MTN Foundation Board has approved the project for New Drubbing. That is why we're here, to do what we've done for other schools across the country.
Corruption received a major boost Tuesday night when Parliament took the bold initiative to pass the Special Prosecutor Bill. But the minority, even though they participated in all the debates leading up to the passage, abstained from the voice vote. Let's hear from the chairman of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs in Parliament, Ben Abdullah, his ranking member, Yunus Afuseni, and anti-graft body GII on what exactly they expect to happen.
In certain jurisdictions, the cases to be dealt with by the special prosecutors or the independent counsel are circumscribed. They give the petty corruption matters to the ordinary law enforcement agencies, and the big ones are given to the special prosecutors or independent. But here, they felt, no, every corruption matter is a corruption matter.
First of all, you must know that the establishment of the office of the special prosecutor is in fulfillment of a campaign promise. So whatever you say, it will be dogged by politics. You must also appreciate the fact that what we have been trying to do and what we have succeeded in doing is establishing an office with delegated authority from the Attorney General. Because under the Constitution, exclusive jurisdiction for the prosecution of or exclusive authority for the prosecution of criminal cases is vested in the Attorney General. And so what we've done is to try to see how we can get Attorney General to delegate the prosecutorial powers exclusively vested in her, part of it, to the special prosecutor. And thirdly, what institutional mechanism do we put in place to ensure the functional independence of the prosecutor? Because I've already said that because it's a delegated authority, you can't talk about legal independence, okay? You can only talk about functional independence or operational independence. And then we also look at financial independence and then structural independence. So you see in the provision, you see that the operational independence is when the special prosecutor is constituted, his office is constituted, he will not be subject to the direction and control of anybody.
There is a checkbox, that will confirm whether he's truly independent or not. I mean, we thought that the appointment process would have added an icing on the cake, but then there are other things. There is the issue of resources. There is the issue of the tenure of office, or what they call the security of office. There is also the issue of the governance arrangement. If the Attorney General is able to hold back that nollie prosecutorial powers or use it and explain to citizens why he or she is using it, then we know that at least to a large extent we are inching closer to independence and we are inching closer to what we so asked for.
Now, prior to the final funeral rites of the Queen Mother of the Asante Kingdom, Nana Ifeasewa Kobi II, a delegation from Menchia on the orders of Otumfuo visited former President John Dramani Mahama at his residence here in Accra. This visit was to officially invite him to the funeral.
Presidents John Agyekum Kufuor, J.J. Rawlings and other top government officials on Monday, the delegation from the Menchia Palace, led by Nana Nsuasi Opoku-Agyeman, the chief linguist to Asante, met former President Mahama at his residence Thursday morning.
Nana Kobi na oyi na mame enti edru emre odani nechi ye na ebesomu eye ne sefata na se abedru emre eya etwa tokra ye beye na Otumfuo atonsa afremi se membegina nechi na ye nja ye mame kwan ne kwan so enti ni ameka ne se mokwa munchia no mame na monkanchen se na edanu dru ha se ne sefata ye na ye beba besom na ye mame no yaye amamre sefata edeja no kwan enti medamase.
This visit was meant to formally invite the former First Gentleman to the final funeral rites of the Queen Mother of Asante. The chief linguist who spoke on behalf of the Otumfuo conveyed the date for the funeral. A special lineup of activities for the funeral has been documented and will be followed dutifully.
And GH1 TV will be bringing you an extensive coverage of the final funeral rites of the late Asante Hima. Let's now take the part 4 of our Portrait of the Countryside series. Now, the absence of potable water in a toilet facility in Zogu, a farming community in the Savlugu-Nanton district of the northern region, is hampering formal education and quality health care in the area. Residents are therefore appealing for government support to improve their living conditions. GH1 News' Redwan Karim Dini Osman brings us the 4th of a 6-part series titled Portrait of the Countryside.
Conflicts keep children out of school, and so does sickness. But in Zau, thirst and the long trek required to quench it is preventing many children from accessing formal education. These children risk being late to school or not attending school at all as the search for water in this impoverished community begins at the crack of dawn. They maneuver their way through the bushes with extreme caution because any careless move here could cost them a snake bite, a situation they describe as a common occurrence. The search for water in this village is constant, whether in dry or rainy season, due to lack of potable running water and even large reservoirs to harvest rain. After the long walk, residents counted their luck upon seeing this dam. Despite the pressure it faces from the thirsty community, it still has some rainwater to spare. These little girls sent goosebumps all over my body as I watched them grapple with the load of the water they had just fetched. Some NGOs try to manage the situation to the barest minimum, but with very little success. The water situation here at Zau, a community in the Savlugu district in the northern region, is very dire. Now, the structures you see around me are all water reservoirs. We understand that they were actually put in place by an NGO to treat the water here to be able to provide the community with potable water. But these reservoirs have been abandoned and the community doesn't even have a single pipe-borne water. We understand also that some time ago boreholes were provided, and so you can see on my right, my extreme right side, that the boreholes are there, but they have not been drilled. And so every single day, residents would have to embark on that difficult journey of accessing water. And a lot of the time, the water they get is not potable. According to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 4, achieving inclusive and equitable quality education will require increasing effort and support for vulnerable populations, including poor children in rural areas. However, this village appears abandoned to cruel fate in the area of access to potable water and proper sanitation.
na ala swa bi kwam na ga kana kana tutu kwam na na kule ntotum tum shela anyantum ka dzu'i ntaba ndan ka tanyura ta ka kwashe pala ngama dan ka tiyan toro kule tan nan ndira dan ka ta dira dan kan dunya ta yalaka.
Mohammed Ibrahim, a teacher at Violi Basic School in this community, says they are also not spared in the water search. He explains how the scarcity is hampering effective teaching and learning.
Sometimes the children may come and be late. Because of that, they will not want to go to school again because of the caning, because they know if they are late and go to school, they will cane them. So they are sometimes dodging the school. They will dodge the parents and then dodge the teachers, because they will go out as if they are going to school, but then they will dodge to some place and hide. After the closing, they will also come home. So it affects the schooling.
Most of the people in this area survive on less than 2 cedi a day. This means they cannot bear the cost of treating the dirty water before they consume.
We know sometimes it will be the disaster, but we have no otherwise than to fetch it. And they say we should boil the water before we can drink it. That will make it more safe, but we can't do that. We just filter it and then take.
What is the difficulty in boiling the water?
The firewood itself is difficult, because nowadays there's always no more a village again, because firewood are far away. So to get firewood and boil the water and do other things, we can't afford.
So how has it affected? It means you are drinking water that is contaminated. How has that affected your health?
It affects our health in case of when we just take it raw like that. We know sometimes it will be cholera. It will be what sort of disease is that? So we know we contaminate ourselves by drinking this sort of water, but we have no other thing to do than to drink it like that.
We met Abiba, who had just returned from the dam. She said they are 15 in this house and they all depend on water from the dam. There are also no toilets in Zau, making open defecation the order of the day. A general nurse in charge of the Zau Health Center, Elizabeth Awuni, expresses concerns about how the facility is recording more cases on waterborne diseases.
The kind of conditions that we are recording that we suspect health-wise is connected to this lack of adequate water supply is diarrhea cases, and then sometimes gastroenteritis.
How frequent are these cases?
Usually the children under 5 and the aged, they are vulnerable, so we record them on weekly basis, monthly, and then but those who are active, mostly their resistance level is a bit high, and they don't usually report early. But for the children under 5 and the aged, weekly basis we record such incidents.
The community health center itself is not in good shape to deal with huge numbers in case of a cholera outbreak. Both men and women share the same ward, while these tricycles are used as ambulances to convey patients in critical condition. But the challenges do not end there.
In the night, if there is emergency, we sometimes use solar connections attached to the electricity. And sometimes when you are conducting delivery or there are emergency cases, I mean, it's not the best. And then the surrounding of the facility is so dark. And then when they are also coming from where I told you, Jegun and other catchment areas, if they are coming in the middle of the night, it's disheartening.
There is no doubt that Zau is in distress, and with more and more children of school age on the hunt for water daily in this village, their future grows precarious and even bleaker. Reporting for GH1 News, my name is Ridwan Karim Dini Osman.
And don't forget, we're still running a campaign on these stories with the hashtag Northern Lives Matter. You can send in your donations or bring them here to GH1 TV studios at Platinum Place in Accra. And now to more stories. We move on to business now. The Chief Executive Officer of the GIPC, Yofi Grant, has described the 2018 budget as the one that creates a fertile ground for investment to thrive. Speaking to GH1 Business a day after the Finance Minister presented the 2018 budget to Parliament, the GIPC boss said despite the fact that the year has been a challenging one, the GIPC managed to raise funds to the tune of 5 billion cedis.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, cited the digital address system that has been rolled out recently to enhance accessibility to business destinations. The introduction of the paperless ports, coupled with the e-registration of businesses, as amongst major landmark policies that resonates with the investor community. He said the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, used the 2018 budget to set the tone to woo more investors into the country.
I mean, the fact that we are even digitalizing the economy means that you are removing a lot of the human intervention that will limit a lot of corruption. You want to go and pay something, there's no human being you're going to hand money to. There's no human you're going to beg. You go online, you tick, you can pay online, get your certificates, get everything, like registration. Registering companies, there's an e-registry at the Registrar General's Department. There's a paperless port at the port. What happened when it was implemented? There was a bit of hesitance, but sadly, we are seeing much improved cash flow.
He also highlighted how the GIPC Club 100 is helping businesses on the local front to connect with multinational companies.
It's like being classified a blue chip company. Everybody knows that credibility and being a blue chip lowers your cost of funding, your cost of borrowing, because it lowers your risk. People know you are transparent, you are visible, and so it lowers your risk and therefore lowers your cost of doing business. Apart from that, it's also good for marketing, that you are exposed to the company and say, oh, so this is one of the top 100 companies in Ghana. Assuming you're looking for investors, that's a benchmark that people will look at.
The 16th edition of the Club 100 event will be celebrated on the theme Industrialization, a tool for job creation and accelerated economic development, and will be held on November 30th.
Still on the budget, some trade unions have reacted to the 2018 budget read by Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. The General Agric Workers Union, for instance, are disappointed the government did not give a detailed progress report on the agricultural sector.
You know, it's not just about production. When it is at the time of harvest, those farmers have more than what they can eat, and they cannot store it, because agricultural produce are bulky and perishable, you know. So it is the marketing aspect that is not well addressed. So you cannot be addressing production when you have not sufficiently dealt with your marketing part.
The other side of this proposed reduction in tariff is how this is going to impact on the companies. And for us, we are talking about the electricity company of Ghana. From the top of my head, without really going into serious calculations, I can say without fear of contradiction that this will involve some revenue loss to the company, because over the years, tariffs that have been proposed have never covered all the key cost areas. So if it's going to go down, definitely there will be some revenue shortfalls for the company.
It's going to be generally a difficult year. It's going to be difficult because we're expecting a lot of growth. We're expecting jobs. What it means is that expenditure must go up. Government is looking at investing in 100,000 students. Is going to employ 100,000 graduates. That means that your books will be going up. What you are spending will go up. Once your expenditure is going up, it's going to increase your deficit.
And so we were thinking that as we proposed that yes, 3% flour was already there for retail, let's implement it at retail, leave the importers, leave distributors, and leave wholesalers. So I was expecting to see the finance minister would have said that, having listened to our stakeholders, we think we want to reverse it and implement it at all the retail sector. I didn't see that.
Wondering what the weather is going to look like for the next 24 hours? Well, let's go for our weather update. And that's it for GH Today News. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Sewa Ami here. We are back at 11:30 with more news and at 6:30 p.m. with News Tonight. But now, Kafwide and Beswa are standing by to bring you the rest of the show. Thank God it's Friday, by the way. Kafui, Beswa.
We're aspiring.
Hey, Sewa, good to see you.
Bukum and Basti. Who is Bukum? Who is Basti?
Well, I'm Basti.
Because you won,
no, yeah.
What? You are Basti?
I'm just enjoying this, by the way.
You are Basti.
Oh, please, don't even go there. Don't even go there. Don't go there.
I don't think you both got that.
They got it. They got
No,
it.
they got the drift. Come on. You know what? Back in school, my schoolmates, especially the boys, used to have a name for me. I'm not going to say it on air.
Basti B. Basti B. Basti B. Hey, good morning.
All right.
Hope you're having a great day. Good morning, good morning. It's good to have you here. This is GH Today on GH1 TV. My name is Kafwide. She's Queen B. And today is the 17th of November 2017, World Prematurity Day. Yeah, preterm babies, babies that come out ahead of their appointed time because they think, man, it's time to come out. But is that the reason? That conversation is on Hard Talk today, and Beswa will be doing a great job of that conversation this morning on GH1 TV. Manyao. Talk.
All right, yes, of course, yeah, it's Prematurity Day today, and we're having that conversation. I've had one such child, my first, the one that I lost. She was, preterm.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that it's because she was preterm that I lost her.
No.
A lot of
factors.
preterm babies have survived till today, and they're usually even bigger and they're
more robust,
gigantic,
yeah.
So we're having the conversation. If you have any questions or contributions you want to join in this conversation, later on, hopefully in the next hour and a half or so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But ahead of all of that, we have, of course, all of those online trends for you. The newspapers, what are they saying? I spotted a bit on new districts creations. So yes, we'll be looking at all of that, plus what the minority is saying about this particular issue of creating new districts. Well, the local government minister is also responding. So yes, we're getting all of these details, plus some more, news from around the world.
Indeed, and I was listening to the news bulletin that delivered a couple of minutes ago. So there's an issue of some new airline that is coming up pretty soon, and why airports to be opened pretty soon for business, creation of new districts, as Bwesa was talking about. Lots of interesting things in the news, and that feature on lack of toilet facilities and potable drinking water in Zwau. Oh, man, those are the real stories, you know, taking the cameras where the news normally doesn't go and reporting stories of people on the ground. Great job to Ridwan and the team. By the way, Ridwan won a very, 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 very distinguished award yesterday. It's an African award in the media space, peace and security reporting. Congratulations, Ridwan. We're proud of you. We are glad that we have you in our team. So in talking of teams, Dennis Mapuri will be talking about all the team action over the weekend. The international break is over, so we're back to the sports that we like. It's mainly football. So La Liga, Premier League, you name it, you know, all of them. Serie A, Liga, all of them. Dennis has it. And then Ellie will be talking about a new video release happening today, all right? So you watch out for that.
Talking about a new video release,
Yes.
I think we've got one as well.
Yes, yes.
We have a duet coming up.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so watch out.
It's coming.
Bayswap featuring King Kaf, or Queen Bee featuring King Kaf. How about that? Listen, it's a fun Friday, freaky, funky,
and fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Frivolous.
And it's a fun show because, yes, your TV Royals are here.